guys, welcome back. It's been 6 months since my chemo, so I thought it's the right time to share some insights about how I've been doing, how is my life been over the past 6 months, and what really lies ahead now for me. So let's get started. So for the past 6 months, there have been certain symptoms which I have experienced. Primarily, the most bothersome I would say is muscle stiffness, primarily the thigh area, and then it was around my shoulder area, and primarily the fingers. So I realized it's partly related to neuro and partly related to muscles, because I experienced that I had lost a lot of muscle during my recovery phase, and this happened interestingly like right after maybe 2 to 3 weeks after my chemo. Even before that, I would say, wherein one fine day when I woke up and I tried to lift my hand, I realized that I cannot really lift my hand like this. I mean, I could not really pull it beyond this point because I was having this intense pain around my shoulders. And then next couple of days I realized that if I'm standing for long hours, then I sort of feel like my upper thigh muscle has turned into a stone, which was not the case if I was walking, because during this entire time that time I was doing 10 to 12k steps post my 6 months post my chemo treatment. So it was only happening when I was standing there still for a long time. Other than that, when I think around evening time, like before, a couple of hours before my bedtime, and also a couple of hours after my bedtime, I felt like there was this stiffness in my fingers, which I do have even now. As in, if I make a fist of my hand, then I experience a bit of strain around my fingers. But this was, I would say, 10 times more intense for the initial 3 to 4 months post my treatment. Yeah. Other than that, I noticed there was certain nail discoloration happening for my toenails and some other feet nails as well. It was not that intense for me because I've heard that for certain people, the discoloration is quite intense, as in most of the nails have turned black. But for me, it was only 2 or 3 nails which had turned slightly grayish, blackish. I didn't go beyond that point because my treatment had already ended by then. Yeah, so now talking about one of the major factors which everybody dreads, which is hair loss. Yes, I did lose my hair. I mean, I'd already lost it probably after around the time my second chemo started. But by the time my treatment got over, I would say that at least I lost 80 to 90% of my hair on my head, and also my eye. So surprisingly, for my eyebrows, I did not really lose all of my eyebrow hair because the growth cycle for eyebrows is much slower. So that's the reason that when my chemo ended around mid of October, I would say that till around New Year's time, till December last year, I still had few hair for my eyebrow. But then I think gradually there came a point by the beginning of this year that I only had like maybe 7-8 strands on both sides of the eyebrows, and same goes for eyelashes. But it never really was completely wiped out, I would say. So so yeah, and then gradually, I think by March or by April, not even April, by March actually, I had sort of I felt like most of the hair I'd got most of the hair back. I got this baby growth initially for my head hair, and I shaved it once because initially when the hair grows, it's a little fizzy, and those are like baby hairs, very cute to look at, but not your real hair. So it's always better to shave your hair once you've started getting small hair growth. That's what I found through online research. So that's what I did, and then finally the growth which I got after shaving my hair once 14 days into the baby hair, this is what it looks like now. One very strange thing that has happened to me is that I used to have this wavy hair earlier, but now it's proper pure curly, which I'm absolutely loving. If you can see how curly it is, you could see it's like typically curly, more curly at the back side. So yeah, I mean, easier to maintain at this moment, and I'm gonna maybe keep it for a while because I'm loving it so much. Yeah, so one thing was that which I knew much earlier, and still I faced it, was infections. Being Because of course when you undergo chemo treatment, you are prone to infection. So uh, I was very mindful of uh, uh, doing shaves during my chemo, particularly head shave. Or anyways, I didn't really have much hair overall my body during the chemo treatment, but maybe shaving once in a while your armpits or your other body parts and all. What I realized is that somewhere during maybe third or fourth, towards the end of my chemo, I started like once I had shaved my armpit and then I got a small cut, but I realized that started having these very small bubbles, similar to like how you get blisters, but maybe 1/10 of its size, very small, just like a small pimple, and it was all around that cut area. It was filled with fluid. I didn't really realize what it was till I started seeing the similar symptoms around my infusion site as well, and injection infusion site as well. Usually I was getting injections here. So if you see, I still have this small black patch because I had like small bubbles all around the skin area and also around this area, but this has sort of healed now. But this is taking a time because it started getting, once it was dried, it turned black, and now it's fading eventually. What I did for this was honestly nothing much as such. I didn't really apply any ointment other than your usual over-the-counter available antibacterial, antifungal creams. But I made sure that I washed my hands quite often with soap and tried to keep this area as dry as possible. And most importantly, not to touch this area. Now, talking about some of the issues which I had experienced towards the later stages of my chemo before it was over, was chemo belly, and which is related to digestion. Now, what is chemo belly? Is primarily when the medications hit you, your digestion is impacted in a great way. I mean, that's what happened to me. And even though I was trying to eat as light and as gut friendly as possible, making sure I'm drinking lots of water, tracking that I'm drinking every 30 minutes, consuming fruits, taking good fiber and everything, even then I had severe digestion issues. I felt constipated. The doctor gave me constipation syrup as well. Even that was not really helping much. And constipation was one thing, but the feeling of bloatedness, that is something, I mean, I had never experienced that extent in my life. I felt like I am like 6-7 months into pregnancy because my stomach was that bloated, and I could not really, I didn't really feel like doing anything. I felt like very restless. It lasted, I would say, till the till 1 week post my chemo treatment was over. For 2 entire cycles I kept on feeling that way, and it always lasted like 1 week post my chemo infusion. And then for the entire, if like my chemo cycle was 3 weeks, so for first week I used to experience this severely, and then for the next 2 weeks I was feeling fine. And then again it was the same thing. So chemo belly is something which is what bothered me the most during my chemotherapy. uh, and lastly, I wanted to talk about hot flashes. This is not really related to chemotherapy as such, but since I had gone for ovary removal surgery before my chemotherapy, so hot flashes had so menopause had kicked in straight away, and this is something which I'm dealing even now. I've read online that it can stay for a few years, probably maybe on an average it usually stays for 5 years till your symptoms start getting better. So hot flashes is wherein all of a sudden you have this immense burst of heat sensation throughout your body, and I'm all in sweats. So now it's very difficult for me to feel cold usually, and I don't remember if I've ever used jackets in flights anymore now, which was a regular practice earlier. So yeah, that is something which I'm still struggling for now. And lastly, digestion, I would say I don't really have chemo belly anymore, but my digestion is not the same as it was earlier. For example, if I have to make sure that I do not sit for long duration, otherwise I'll start having gastric problems. I have to make sure that I'm taking a walk after every meal, because if I don't do that, then again I have gastric issues. And if I have gastric issues, then I start to feel this pain around my left pelvis area. It gets a little swollen, and I start to experience pain while I'm sitting. So that is something which I'm still struggling, and I'm figuring out how to manage that. So yeah, this is all about my symptoms so far, issues I've faced. Overall, I would say that the life post chemo has been really amazing. I read and watched a lot of videos online and read content wherein different people had different experiences undergoing chemo and even post chemo, wherein they felt very weak, and it was horrible experience for them. Well, personally, I feel blessed that I was quite good throughout my entire chemo. I mean, to the extent that I was able to jog during my chemo, go for like 15,000 steps every day occasionally during my chemo is something. And I never used to lie on bed during the whole daytime, like literally never. I mean, so I never really felt that weak, which is a good thing. Now there might be reasons behind it, as in I was quite active before I entered into my chemo, or even during my chemo. Even though there were days I was not feeling like, but I still went for a walk. So all these things had really helped me during and even after chemo over the last 6 months. Now, talking about how I am doing now, I would say what am I doing now and how am I doing now is something that it's that I feel great at this particular moment with certain symptoms which I've shared with you guys. One thing is that which has kept me going in a good way is working out. So right, like I think 1 month post my chemo, even before a month, in fact I would say within 1 month post my chemo, I joined gym and I started working out again. I was not at my greatest at that time, because I already shared, like I had immense shoulder pain, my muscles were very weak, and I could not really lift much, I would say. I mean, it was like back to square one. But I realized that if I was not doing that, I was getting weaker and weaker every day, even though I was able to walk and everything. But I felt like my body had started giving in slowly, and I was losing lots of muscles, even though I was trying to make sure that I was consuming decent amount of protein, maybe not equal to my body weight, but still I was trying to ensure that I was consuming protein. But even then, I was feeling that I'd lost a lot of muscle. So working out helped me immensely. It was a gradual, very slow, very patience testing process. Quite intimidating, because when you go to gym and you see people working like around you, it's quite intimidating for you to like literally start from the beginning. But that is something which on a continuous basis led me to this health now. Other thing is that I took a time to start going outdoors in public gatherings and all, but that is something which has helped me to to stay engaged. I try to go for volunteering activities and attend certain events, and I've started studying. You can study like whatever you want, so I prefer to study my some career related books and also some novels. So these are the things I'm making sure that I'm engaged throughout the day, at least for a good I would say 5 to 6 hours during the day I'm engaged, and also keeps me active. I do not I make sure I never go to my bedroom once I have woken up and I'm out of it. So I only go back to my bedroom in the night, and also I do not sit for long hours. I try not to sit for long hours. Yeah, so these are the certain things which I'm trying to incorporate in my daily life, and have been doing so, and has helped me a lot. In terms of medication, I'm not taking any medication. It stopped with my chemo. The only thing which was suggested by doctor and which I'm taking is my calcium supplements, because I had undergone ovary removal, so menopause hits, so you might lose bone density, so for that particular reason only. Now, in terms of my medical checkups, I have been advised by doctor to have a checkup every 3 months, because mine was an advanced stage cancer. So I've already finished two of my follow-ups. First, for the first follow-up after 3 months, I had undergone PET scan, which was clean, and then second time I had undergone MRI scan, which was again clean, and both of these were accompanied by blood, usual your liver function test, kidney function test, and other blood tests, regular blood test. So everything felt good. In terms of blood test, I would say that during my chemo, and if even for the first month after my chemo, I noticed that once my chemo had started, my glucose level had slightly gone up. Not the regular everyday glucose, but primarily the average glucose level, which is the HbA1c level, that had gone like around the high borderline value. Though during the entire chemo, I made sure that I do not consume sugar in any form. Even then, it was happening for me. And also my cholesterol levels had increased, which was perfectly fine before my chemo treatment started. But I realized that, I mean, it was around early 200s, below 230, 240, but early 200 for the cholesterol, especially the bad cholesterol level also were in line. So not very high, but slightly high. But even then, I was quite surprised at why this is happening, because I felt like I was eating right. So I checked with my doctor, but there was no certain reason for that, which was understood at that point in time. But I realized, like, when I went for my 3-month checkup, I was surprised that my average glucose levels were perfectly fine, and also my cholesterol levels were perfectly fine. So I'm assuming there might be maybe something related to chemotherapy in a direct or indirect manner. So yeah, that is something which can also happen for certain people. Other than that, I have been advised to return to my normal life in every possible way, as in I can return to my usual work routine. I can continue doing my workouts. There is no weightlifting constraint anymore on me, which was anyways not the case probably after 3 months of my chemo. But I think you are the best judge for your body. I mean, for me, I listen to my body. Of course, I listen to my doctors, but most importantly, I listen to my body. So I did weightlift to the point where I felt was comfortable. Certain days, I use knee pads also to lift, because sometimes because my body was weak, so I didn't want my knees to get stressed. So initially, when I started going to the gym, I was using knee pads and then working out. So that really helped to slowly build up the muscle strength. So yeah, I mean, this is how I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I would like to end with what is in store for me. So now, since 6 months, everything has been clean. I've been advised to go for an ultrasound on the next quarter visit, because apparently there's no data which suggests that MRI or PET scan is going to help you in any terms, and also you're always exposed to certain radiations. So that's why I'll be undergoing ultrasound. I'll be doing ultrasound for the next quarter, and a bone density scan, just to check how my bone levels are, primarily because of the ovary removal. And then after that, at the 6-month interval, I'll be doing MRI. So I'll be like alternating between ultrasound and MRI. Yeah, so that's about it. I hope that you have gained some input, it has helped you in any ways. So see you guys soon. If you have any queries, you can always write down in the comment section, and I'll try to reply to them at the earliest.